This is WOMMLP operating out of Burlington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening, it is The Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor, and with me tonight is Kingdom All-Stars. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
So lovely to have you all in the studio. Could you go around and introduce yourselves? And I appreciate there's some people without a microphone, so whoever's got a microphone, introduce the people behind them as well.
Cool. Do you want full names?
Yeah, full names would be great. And also what instrument you're playing tonight.
All right. So I am Macy Milani on backup vocals, and behind me I have Allie Morrison. Okay, I have Allie Morrison on bass, and my brother Zay Milani on drums.
Wonderful.
Hi, I'm Siri Jolliffe, and I'm going to play guitar and sing tonight. Behind me, I have Liza Morse on the piano. And
I'm Jasmine Bogey. I'll be playing guitar as well and singing. And behind me, I have Aiden Marcotte on guitar.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in the studio. I really do appreciate it. I was listening to a little bit of you just before we started the show, and you sound amazing. We like kicking it off with a song. So what you got to start with?
we have Three Men of Straws, which is an older song that was written before by the people that were in the band before us.
All right. One, two, three.
I keep falling down, but I get up again. Am I stronger in the end? So where does this stop? I need this to end. I can't be stronger. I can't be stronger. I can't be stronger. I can be stronger in the end. chance to stay. I can be stronger. I will be stronger. I can be stronger. I will be stronger in the end. In the end. In the end. Stronger in the end. Stronger in the end. Stronger in the end. Stronger in the end.
Kingdom All Stars there with Stronger. Wow, guys, that was amazing. I just want to give like wider context to anyone listening at home rather than watching it on the YouTube channel. Could you just real quickly go around and just say how old you all are?
Sure. I am 13.
I'm 15.
I'm 20.
She's 20.
I'm 16.
He's 16.
17.
17.
15.
I'm 16.
Wow, that's incredible. You are massively talented and just incredibly well coordinated for a group of people who are so young. I read here that you have to kind of audition to get into the Kingdom All Stars. Can one of you tell me a little bit about that process and how that goes?
Well, it's, I don't know. I auditioned for a couple years to get in, and it really helped me grow because I learned a lot from the people who I auditioned for. They're very smart, and they've got a lot to say. And
Yeah. I auditioned a couple times too, and I ended up doing Jesters, which was, it was the summer camp that was kind of like, oh, we really like you, but maybe you're not old enough to be in this yet. So it was just a little summer thing, and I was with this one and this one. So it was great.
And so, both of you at least auditioned multiple times to try and get in this group. What's the appeal? What's the pull of this group specifically? Because once you get rejected, sometimes, especially when I was a teenager, if I got rejected, I would have slunk away and never shown my face again. But clearly, this is important and good enough that you want to keep coming back. So what's the pull?
I think we all just love music, and we're hard workers, and I don't think if you really love music, you're not going to give up on it, and you're just going to keep going.
no one our age really gets to experience something like this band feel. It's all like school choirs and stuff like that. So this has really helped us grow.
And I think it's super cool to be like in a group of kids around your age who have the same level of musical talent. It really helps you to like expand on each other's ideas and help each other grow, and it's a great environment.
Yeah, for sure. I can imagine that. Just to go back to the point you just said, you said it's different from choir and like school band. What's that difference? Apart from obviously working with people just as talented as you are, which must be obviously one big appeal. But what's the difference between playing in this or playing in a top level choir or a top level school band?
Well, I have only been in like the school bands where like some of you know what you're doing and some of you are just beginning, and it was always just a different taste of music, and I love this kind of music, and I just.
Yeah, we feel like performers, we're going in like performing where the audience is like, they're not just like your classmates. They're not going into like an auditorium and where you're supposed to be led by your teacher. But these are people that actually want to come and see us, which is really cool.
And speaking of the led by the teacher thing, a lot of the school based groups are a lot more like adult led, and the teacher tells you we are doing this song. Well, in All Stars, it's a lot more the members of the band are the people who decide what songs we want to do and how we want to do them and how long we want to make them and things like that.
You get to have fun.
I hear we get to have fun in the back there. Yeah, it seems like you guys are having fun. Do you want to expand on that a little bit if you could get to your microphone?
Hi. So, yeah, I said we get to have fun because I don't know, we all just work so well together, and we all have great communication, and we all just like look at each other, know we're all like doing our best and having a great time together, making music that we love to do. And I don't know, it's just different from, all state choirs from Vermont and, your high school band, because you're not there to try to be the best, you're there to try to all make music together. And it's really cool to cooperate together and collaborate and make all the songs we've made and all the, performances we got to play together. It's amazing.
Yeah, I kind of want to go on to that, the level of freedom you folks seem to have. You get to pick how long the song is, what songs you're singing. You kind of seem to have a lot of creative freedom. And you mentioned before that the first song you played was actually from previous bandmates, so I'm sure were part of the group, and then they were in the group for a little bit, and they moved on and probably continuing to make music now. So that gives me the impression that you're still writing songs yourselves. So tell me about how that process works, especially with 7 of you. That must be quite an interesting scenario.
Yeah, well, so I guess we usually just write our songs and then we bring them to the band. But there's songs that we wrote maybe half of them, or we wrote it out and it's like a rough draft. And then the whole band comes together and we're like, oh, we really like this part. Let's try this. And we'll even rewrite parts sometimes or add bridges, and it's really cool.
Yeah, the band members do these like I just like sing and play guitar, and then I take this like rough draft like demo, and like the band members just take it and make it into something amazing, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
How many of you kind of wrote songs prior to being in the Kingdom All Stars?
I think so. The first year that I auditioned, I never wrote a song. I had just started playing instruments, and there was still a lot of growth that I needed to achieve. But then about halfway in between the year, I wrote a song, and I was like, oh, this is okay. And then Todd emailed my mom and was like, oh, does she want to come do this little show that we're doing? Where it was like a talent show thing where other people from the kingdom could go and perform. And he wanted me to do gymnastics in it. And I had an injury, so I couldn't. But my mom was like, oh, she could sing. So I did that, and I performed my original. And then the next year, when I auditioned with a bunch of originals.
I had only written these like little songs when I was a little kid that I don't even remember anymore. And I was in the band just mostly backing on covers, and we went to record Siri's song, which was one of the first originals we recorded. And I went, holy moly, this is where I want to be. And so I went home, and like a couple weeks later, I wrote Bother Me First. And I was just so inspired. But other than that, I don't think I would have written songs.
And we had a mention of Todd there. I'm assuming Todd's the manager, sitting in the corner here. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about you being in this studio. For all of you, or some of you, was it the first time you were there?
It was the first time I had ever been to a studio. We've been back there before a couple times, but I just remember the first experience in it, and I was like, oh, this is nerve-wracking and scary, but also really cool. And then we went inside to where I don't know what it's called, the like booth, and there was like a couch, and I remember just hearing the like rough draft of what we had so far, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So we've been back there a bunch of times now, and it's really cool.
I'm curious to know why it was the moment in the studio for you that you were like, this is exactly what I want to do. This is where I want to be right now.
I just like had the headphones on, and I was listening to the music around me, and it sounded just like outstanding, and I was like, I want to play a bigger part in this. And just Siri's songwriting was just very inspiring to me.
Thank you.
So it sounds like you guys have got great chemistry. Do you find yourself partnering up to kind of collaborate, or do you kind of work fully as a group, or are you some of you kind of go off and do your own thing, and then others kind of group together?
It kind of depends. I think when people have ideas for songs, usually what they'll do is they'll contact the people, like the core people that they think they'll need. So like maybe they would contact Zane because he plays drums. Maybe they would contact Aiden for some elevated guitar. It all depends on what you want to add.
I see. Well, I'd love to hear another song. So what have you got for us?
Bother Me First. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
So many things don't make sense. Like how can we love? So many things I don't understand. Like when enough is enough. And I wanna make sure that you're always there. And I wanna make sure that I'm the one who's keeping you there. So bother me first, worry me first. This love is a privilege, it's not a curse. 'Cause I love you more. It's your heart and your door. It's you, you and you I've been searching for. So if you ever think to turn around and tell somebody else, so many things make sense. How I feel when I'm holding your hand. So many things I understand. Like how now I found you. And I wanna make sure that you're always there. And I wanna make sure that I'm the one who's keeping you there. So bother me first, worry me first. This love is a privilege, it's not a curse. I love you more. It's your heart and your door. It's you, you and you I've been searching for. So if you ever think to turn around and tell somebody else, if you ever think to turn around and tell somebody else, bother me first, worry me first. This love is a privilege, it's not a curse. I love you more. It's your heart and your door. It's you, you and you I've been searching for. So if you ever think to turn around and tell somebody else, if you ever think to turn around and tell somebody else, bother me first.
Bother Me First there by Kingdom All Stars. I love that you mentioned elevated guitar just before we started that song because Aiden, fantastic guitar playing. I got to ask you, when did you start playing? Because you've got some serious skill.
Thank you. I started playing guitar in 5th grade. I started playing guitar in 5th grade. I tried like violin before that, and it just didn't cut it for me. I just had to. I don't know. It was like, it just yeah.
How much do you practice on this like a week?
I I used to sit in my room like all day and just play guitar. Like, I don't know, it was different for me as a kid. I just didn't like to do anything else. I just always had a guitar in my hand. And I found as like I've grown older that it's harder to always find time to practice, especially being in high school and stuff now. But in my free time, I just try to always have a guitar in my hand.
Yeah, I mean, we have some seriously talented musicians that come in here and obviously in 20s and their 30s and their 40s. In fact, we had a wonderful guitar player here last week who must have been 70 odd. And you are right there up there with them. So,
Thank you so
it's
much.
quite remarkable for a 16-year-old, honestly. It's
Thank you.
fantastic talent. And I would be remiss to also not mention the jazz piano behind. When did you start playing piano?
I want to say I was probably like 4 years old. I had a little Yamaha 1-octave piano in my room, and I remember I would listen to songs on the radio and come home, and my parents would come up to find me playing the song on the radio that I just heard 2 seconds ago, and it was super cool, and they put me right into lessons too so I could actually learn how to read music, but so that helped kind of the musical logistics of everything, but I've always been able to just hear something and play it, and it's always been fun because I'll hear a new song I like, and there it is on the piano, and I love the piano so much, and I've taken the piano and kind of learned other instruments with it just because it's such a key instrument to kind of learning the fundamentals of music. And yeah, I love piano so much.
Well, you're a fantastic piano player, really does show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, I am curious, you know, we're coming out of a pandemic right now. It seems that we in Vermont at least seem to be okay. But as students, as musicians as well, especially musicians that seem to thrive collaborating with each other, what's this experience been like for you?
Really hard. We kind of had a break for a bit because we really couldn't play anywhere. So it was really hard, and I just remember like writing nonstop. Like I would write 5 songs in like 2 weeks before, and then I just got really lazy, as a lot of people might have done during the pandemic, which I had a bunch more free time than I normally didn't have. So it was weird coming back and then having to like try to write again. So it was definitely challenging.
Did everyone share that experience, or did some of you kind of like fill this free time with locking yourself in your room and practicing vocals or guitar or piano or bass or drums?
I got pretty productive during the pandemic, but
I-
my own personal experience.
From what I've talking to a lot of musicians about this, people seem to have gone one of two ways. Either it's a sense of they've locked themselves in their room and done a whole Bo Burnham and just really kind of gone to town with the whole thing, or kind of like yourself has been like, well, bit despondent, the world's in a pandemic and what's the point? And I think it's fair either way you go, to be honest, and I think it's completely understandable whatever reaction you had. You said you kind of went the other way. You went the kind of full locking yourself in your room and being super creative. How was that for you, being in isolation and having this kind of creative freedom or moment or space to kind of do what you like?
Well, I wrote quite a few songs based on, because it's like it was really like overwhelming, and I really like to take what I'm feeling and put it into music. So I wrote songs about my class because I was graduating, and I wrote songs about the pandemic. But it was just, I don't know, it kind of changed me a little bit, and I don't know how to describe it, but
And anyone else like to weigh in?
I don't think so.
All right then. So once we started coming out of this and started to be able to perform again, I do see that you did manage to perform as recently as May 8th. Was that your first gig back, if you will, or were you guys performing before then?
I think that was probably our first gig back.
Yeah, we did like live stuff, right?
Virtual.
Yeah.
Yeah, virtual stuff.
In terms of being in front of an audience, how was that first initial experience?
It was pretty great
was
being
fun.
back in front of people again. It felt a lot more personal than we tried to do a YouTube live concert over one of the summers, and it was just not the same. It was super cool to be back with an audience that would actually give reactions and stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine having that immediate feedback makes a very large difference in the way that you play and the kind of heart that you put into it. So I assume most of you are students. and obviously very talented, must spend a lot of time working on your own music and then obviously working together. How do you manage to find time with that, with all the demands of schoolwork, and obviously you all live in the Northeast Kingdom, right? Which is usually people live pretty far away from each other as well, so there must be quite a lot of demands on your time. So how do you fit all this in?
Well, I don't know. I'm a very strange person, and I can't really stop doing stuff. I don't know. If I do school, then I go to sports, then I come back, and maybe I'll play guitar. But like, when I finish everything, I just kind of crash, and I'm lazy for like 3 hours. But I do stay busy for a good chunk of time, but then I just stop.
We did we do longer rehearsals on the weekends, just to like fit, instead of doing like 1 hour rehearsals like every couple of days, we did like a 4-hour rehearsal on the weekend, just to like, and it kind of fit all of our schedules, and it kind of got routine.
Yeah. And what's the rehearsal space you use? Are you going to like someone's house or a basement?
Called the basement.
We're locked in a basement for hours. No.
But so that seems like a good space to be able to like unlikely to get complaints from neighbors and whatnot. So, or maybe you do. And so do you ever do like collaborations or write while in that rehearsal space? Or are you kind of bringing already pre-formed songs into that space and kind of working on them?
I think usually the people who write will write their drafts at home, and then they bring them into the band as their half-finished song, and that's when we all write it together.
Yeah, I don't know if I could write in front of everybody.
Go on.
No, go for it.
I was going to ask it. So, what's your writing experience? I mean, I can fully understand why you wouldn't want to write in front of everyone, but if you got like a special routine or a set time, or is it kind of as and when?
It's never the same. I was always, when I was younger, I wanted to write songs, and so I was always trying to learn like the step by step, and it's never worked that way for me. It's always different. It's always like, oh yeah, this might work. Let me write it down. And it kind of just builds and, in layers, and then eventually everybody's in it.
Is it one of these, do you go out into the field and kind of write down notes, or is it kind of just in your room when you find that clarity in your mind?
Some of my songs, like Bother Me First, I was on vacation. I was like, oh, maybe this would be a good idea. And so I have this long list of songs in my notes on my phone. Song titles, and then I take it and I'm like, how does this fit with what I'm feeling right now? So Bother Me First, I was like, I somehow fit it into how I was feeling right at that moment, and it's kind of strange, but it's just how I do it most of the time.
Yeah, I think every songwriter is different,
Yes.
Everyone's got their own process, and sometimes that process is different every single time.
Definitely.
Does anyone else want to share the way that they kind of write and?
Personally, for me, sorry. Personally, for me, I like when we wrote Gaslight, I actually had this lick that I recorded on my phone, and we were like, hey, does anyone have anything new? Because we're kind of in the writing stage of like things, and I was like, actually, I do. Just let me listen and just like get the melody in my head, and it took me a second to remember how it like went, and we had something going on. We wrote a really cool chorus, and then Siri jumped in with a bridge that just was insane, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be a cool song. and then I wrote some words then, but I wrote most of the words at home because for me I kind of have to lock myself away and like be like writing so much stuff and being like, oh, that doesn't sound good. Nope.
A lot of trial and error then.
Yeah, a lot of trial and error for sure.
Yeah, we had a hip hop musician come in the other day, and she must have 1,000 versions of the same songs, and it's just
Yeah, exactly.
she keeps playing them, she keeps playing them, she keeps playing them, she keeps changing them, and
eventually they're just completely different songs.
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah.
But that must have been an amazing experience. You kind of bringing something to the table, and you suddenly kind of coming in with an amazing bridge. Does that kind of spark, that kind of creative spark between you guys happen quite often?
I think so. Hopefully.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to hear another song. So, what have you guys got for us?
Gaslight.
Yeah.
Aiden takes a while, if you haven't noticed. But it needs to be perfect, and it
Yeah.
will be. It'll be good.
Blue shorts, gibberish among the swords, crayon wax and pointed tack, just enough to show the facts, liability. Spell it out to me. Dark days, cat days, feeling blurry haze, cold, moon like the coastline, evening night, circumstance and things to be every what's right.
Those times, those lonely times, drives me out of my mind. My own, my peaceful home. These lives, living the fight, doing what's right.
Stoplights go right, digging deeper in the night. Cold sheets, moonlight, it's the thriller of the night. Stability is nothing to me.
Those times, those lonely times, drives me out of my mind. My own, my peaceful home. These lights, running the fight, doing what's right.
Whispers in my ear, drowned out by love and fear. And whispers in my ear, drowned out by love and fear. And
Opinion on one side, preference on the other. What's wrong, what's right, and where is my answer?
whispers in my ear, drowned out by love and fear. And
Opinion on one side, preference on the other. What's wrong, what's right, and where is my answer? Opinion on one side, preference on the other. Dropped down by, where is my answer? Opinion on one side, preference on the other. Dropped
Gaslight there by Kingdom All Stars. So, Aiden, Gaslight was one of yours then.
Yeah, I wrote that song.
Do you want to take us through the song itself and what you're trying to convey and the themes?
A lot of it was actually about, like, just being in a pandemic, being, like, isolated, you know? It just felt kind of lonely, you know? So, yeah.
That certainly comes through. Was it kind of a moment where you wrote all this down in one, or was this kind of something, as you said, you kind of went over and over? And
a
you
lot of
got to
times
eventually?
throughout, like, stages of my life, I like to write stuff down.
Mhm.
And a lot of writing this song, I looked back at, like, how I felt 3 months ago, and I was like, yeah. A lot of that played into how I wrote the song, for sure.
Yeah, well, it's an absolute cracker, so
Thank you so much.
definitely should be proud. So I see here that 2 of your songs made it to international songwriting semi-finals. Is that any people from the previous band, or is anyone here tonight that managed to write a song that made it into this semi-final?
Yeah, Jazz and I both had 2 of our new songs make it in there, which was pretty cool.
So Bother Me First was one of them.
Yeah, and Daisy.
Wow. So yeah, I mean, tell me about how you heard the news and what happened now.
I don't know how I heard the news. I don't know, actually.
Text.
Probably a probably a text.
My mom, I think I heard my mom just like yelling, and I was like, what? She's like, and then she showed me.
So you two must be really proud of yourself
Yeah.
to get 2 of your songs in this competition go so far. Has the finals already happened? What's the situation at the moment?
I have no clue. I have no clue. Do you have a clue?
I don't know.
We have no clue.
Okay, so big mystery on that one.
We'll figure it out. Probably should check on that.
So has being around each other kind of strengthened all 3 of your songwriting abilities? Like, did you play off each other a little bit and take, I know, creative notes or learn from each other in a way?
Yeah, for sure. I think, like how I was talking about before, I went through a little rough patch where I was like, oh, I should probably start writing again. And Jasmine brought this amazing new song. I forget which one. It might have been 1111. And I was like, that's really cool. And it has an amazing, like 1111, like the wishing number. And I was like, that's really cool. So I was like, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write a song. And I did.
That's exactly what happened with with the Stronger thing. I was like, I love Stronger, and I was like, okay, you have to do this. You have to write a song.
You have to.
So I'm curious. So you kind of coming with variety of kind of different genres. It's kind of got a pop feel to it. It's kind of got an indie feel to it. A little bit of folk dappled in there. What's everyone's influences? What do you guys listen to when you're not playing your own songs?
Elton John.
Elton John. That's a good shout. Great songwriter.
I don't know. I grew up with like the Grateful Dead and Wilco, and stuff like that. But more recently, like Orla Gartland. I'm getting more into like indie music, so I'm hoping that'll kind of take over my music a little bit.
A lot of country growing up, and then where we live, there's like 2 major radio stations. So just like pop and then a country one, and so like mostly country because that was what my family loved.
Got it.
I usually listen to like whatever comes on the radio. Zane and I like to share music preferences a lot, so I end up listening to a lot of the stuff that he listens to. So kind of like Weezer and Green Day and bands like that. We both like to listen to.
Zane, I'm hearing a lot of 90s, 2000s indie there. As a drummer, what's the kind of music that inspires you? And yeah, you know, why did you take up drumming versus any of these other instruments?
So I started playing drums. This is actually my 3rd instrument. So I started on piano, and then I moved to guitar, and then I picked up drums because I think the first band that really inspired me was Rush, just because Neil Peart is a crazy good drummer, and that's really what got me started with drumming. So I take a lot of inspiration from him.
As drummers always want to kind of gravitate towards metal bands, thrash metal bands, obviously Rush isn't exactly known for being subdued. Do you have I know, aspirations to kind of go in that direction, or are you kind of more into that indie scene and trying to keep going what you're doing?
I don't know. I really just play whatever I feel like, I take inspiration from whatever music I'm listening to at the time, and you can sort of hear that through all the different songs. I don't know, it really depends on my mood on the day.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got time for about one more song. Before I let you all go, I did take a little look at your Spotify. Singles up at the moment. Have you got an album on the way? Is that happening anytime soon?
Todd is shaking his head. Yes, it is on the way.
Excellent. When can we expect that album to come out?
Soon.
All right. Well, thanks for that info. So we've got an album coming out soon, and if folks want to listen to you live and come out and see you, where are you playing next? What's coming up for you?
We are playing at the Danville Fair,
Nice.
August 7th.
Wonderful. Any other gigs, or is the Danville Fair the one on the calendar at the moment?
I think it's the one that we're focusing on, but we definitely have some stuff going on.
Awesome. And then finally, just so people can listen to you as and when, where can we find you in terms of social media and music platforms?
We're on Spotify.
iTunes.
I'm pretty sure we have a Facebook.
Yeah.
Instagram,
And a page on just the internet. Yeah.
a website.
A website. That's
Yeah, I do believe if you go to kingdomallstars.com, you can probably also find all of those links. So yeah, we've got time for one last song. So what are you going to play us out with?
It's called Wordless, and it features Liza Morse on a piano solo and Aiden Marcotte on a guitar solo.
I don't wanna mess this up. Put an end to us before I started. I don't know what to do. Can't stop thinking about you, but the hardest part is I don't have the words to describe words I could say to you right now. So I just hang back. I hope you see that I'm holding out my hand. I hope you understand. I hope you take it. I'm leaving my footprint in the sand. I hope you understand. hope you understand. I hope you take it. I'm still leaving my footprint in the sand. I hope you understand. I hope you change it. I'm handing you my heart. Please don't tear it apart. Please just take it. 'Cause holding out my hand. 'Cause holding out my hand.
All right, Kingdom All Stars. They're playing us out with Wordless. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in. This is fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So you can join us next week. We have got Ula Blue coming into the studio. But for tonight, this has been 105.9 The Radiator, The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Tom Proctor, and good night.